various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And Cayman Enterprise City, Cayman's innovation hub. Discover your opportunity at enterprisecayman.ky.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local environment. This is where we address the topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. How we doing? Happy Tuesday. It is July 28th. I cannot believe the month of July just absolutely flew by so fast. We only got a few days left. We're starting the morning off a little bit sweet. Yes, we are. And although I like to say I'm half made of chocolate and ice cream, that's not exactly what we're going to be talking about here, but we're going to be talking about some of the sweetest parts of Caymanian culture, which is all about heavy cakes. So joining us this morning is the woman behind Renda's Cassava Cakes and More. It's a dessert shop known for authentic Caymanian cassava heavy cakes and hands-on traditional cooking classes for corporate teams, schools, groups, and individuals. Also joining us is Rhonda Cornwall. So good morning, Renda and Rhonda, and welcome to The Buzz.
Good morning, Kathy, and thanks so much for having us here. And good morning, Cayman Islands and Radio Land.
Good morning, everyone.
It's great to have you both together because while I figured I didn't know exactly that you were sisters, but while I figured they have to be somewhat related, I've never seen you both together at once.
Okay.
So this is good.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so much similarity between you two and in the kind of a bright personality in that sense that I'm like, hold on, did I just talk to Rhonda? So welcome to the show. It's good to have you on.
Yes, it's our pleasure to be here this morning and one of our favorite topics to discuss as well. So again, thanks for having us here. And yes, Rhonda, my right hand. I usually you don't see one without the other, and definitely when you attend events like Red Sky at Night or the agricultural show, well, she is my number one supporter and also my number one assistant as well, helping me sell the cakes and greet customers and engage with them. So I usually don't leave home without her. It's like the American Express.
Yeah. I love that. Rhonda, how do you feel about that?
Well,
you're the black card
at times.
I think it's the black card is the most prestigious American Express card, right? Am I right there? So it might be you are the black American Express card, the one she cannot absolutely do without, the very high premium.
yes, it's a family affair for sure.
Awesome. So how did you start with your company, Renda?
Yes, so, well, I started to bake the cakes over 15 years ago. And the reason I got into doing that is because I wanted to learn how to make our traditional dishes. I could not imagine a world without, turtle meat and conch stew and Cayman-style beef and, of course, cassava heavy cake. And so I set out on a quest about 15 years ago to learn how to make our traditional dishes with the intention of helping to pass them down to the next generation, the recipes, and preservation being the key in mind. And I have a friend who is a visitor to the islands, and he's been coming here with his family for like over 40 years. And I would always make cakes for them, and he would always encourage me and say, you need to sell this cake, you need to sell this cake. And so eventually I started to sell start doing them for family and friends, and then they started purchasing them from me. And then I actually participated in my very first as a vendor at the Red Sky at Night back in 2015, I think it was. And the rest has been history.
Wow. So that was besides the people saying, you should do this, you should sell this, and you were able to sell amongst family and friends. The Red Sky at Night in 2015 was your first on the road kind of experience.
Yes, it was. And I absolutely loved it.
And it was a hit.
And it was a hit. It was a hit, and I think brand recognition started to develop from that. Yeah,
okay, I think that's excellent. I didn't know that you offered traditional cooking classes as well. So this is my proud moment to share with you that I have made the third best Cayman style beef I've ever tasted in Cayman.
Awesome!
I can't say the best. Might not have been the best, but I think it's the third best, and I have to give up, the person who taught me, which is Glenroy Logan. Thank you so much. Twice he had to bring me through the, and this is how you do it again.
Yes,
write it down this time.
Practice.
Yeah, it does. It does. But I love it
wow.
so much, and I can't imagine. Food is so much a part of culture.
It really is.
It's really a big definition of culture, a part of the culture that is visible, that we see, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people can consider Cayman the culinary capital of the Caribbean. And we have big different food shows that are going on here, or culinary weekends and all the rest.
Yes.
So how important is it for you to understand that so many people are flooding to Cayman for these events, but to also show how much the Caymanian food has an impact on really the flavor of the island, the visit to the island?
It's very important. And Kathy, that is one of the reasons I make an extra effort to try to be a vendor at most of the events, because it is an opportunity to expose our visitors and even new residents to the island of what our traditional foods are like. I think food is also a way of bringing people together. It is excellent ground for conversations.
Yes.
And that's one of the things I love, especially when I do events, because people will come over, visitors and locals alike. Locals will share their personal family stories about the cassava heavy cake and what it means for them. And then visitors are curious as to what it is and how it is made. And I get into that conversation with them. And I get an opportunity to share the importance of the cake and its significance to our society, that it is more than just a dessert, but it is rooted deeply and richly with the Caymanian story.
I love that.
Yeah.
So on that note, when people are coming to you and sharing their stories of their connection with heavy cakes, what's yours?
So, well, my story in particular is that my mom passed the recipe down to me, and I started to tweak it just a little, did not vary from the spices or any of the ingredients. I only varied them according to portion. And so my cake is a very strong resemblance of my mom's. But in terms of the history of the cake, Kathy, I feel like people can appreciate the cake more once they learn a little bit about the background and where it's coming from. And I often liken the cassava heavy cake to us as Caymanians, sort of a metaphor. The cassava heavy cake, it's sweet and it is a dense cake, and it's also a very durable cake. It's a cake that can last at room temperature for up to 5 days. And I liken it to us as a Caymanian people because we're known for our kindness and sweetness, Caymankind. And we are also a close-knit community. And this stems back to the days where our people were very poor, materially speaking. And so you depended on your neighbor for survival. You exchanged food. We lived off of the land and the sea. Those that were fishermen shared their fish, and those that did the ground provisions shared what they had in exchange. And we helped each other to build homes. And I feel that, and then even today, we're church goers, and we attend all of the big events like Pirates Week or Heritage Days. And so, like the cassava cake, it is dense, it's a compact cake. I think that we're also a very close-knit and compact society. And then I think also where the cassava heavy cake can last up to 5 days, it's very durable. I feel that we as Caymanians are a very resilient people. being a very small island nation and having overcome many obstacles, we have emerged resilient. And so I like to liken cassava heavy cake to us as the Caymanian people.
I love it. I think that is such a beautiful analogy right there.
Thank
the
you.
best I've ever heard. I love that. But now I'm curious because you mentioned the history of heavy cakes, and
Yes.
I have no idea about the history of heavy cakes. Could you share?
Certainly. So the exact origins of the cake are not fully known, but it is estimated that the cake was birthed around the 1800s through the ingenuity and creativity of our forefathers. Caymanian society, as we know it today as being an affluent one, was not so back then. That's 200 years ago. Our people were very poor, materially speaking, and so they had to become creative with what limited resources that they had. And most persons grew a backyard farm, and in that farm they would grow the crops, the roots like the cassava, the yam, pumpkin, papaya, and coconuts. And through their creativity, they grated, for example, the cassava and combined it with coconut milk. And again, spices. My understanding is that most of the spices, like the cinnamon and the vanilla and the dark brown sugar, they came through Jamaica. And so with their creativity, they combined those. And today we're so blessed to have what is known as the delicious national dessert for the Cayman Islands, the cassava heavy cake or other heavy cakes. Yeah.
That is interesting. I like this.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a confession to make.
All right.
And I'm sure I'll probably be stoned after this. They'll just hang me off a bridge. Something bad will happen. But I love dessert.
Yeah.
And I can't do cassava cake. I can't do heavy cakes. I know the way you're looking. I know. I want to crawl under the table. I can't.
No, so help me understand when you say you can't.
It's just
Expound it out a little
it's
more
the
for me.
sweet. I love sweet desserts.
Yes.
I like savory stuff too, but when it comes to dessert, I'm very chocolate. I don't even like a lot of fruit in my dessert. I'm like, why are we putting the fruit with the chocolate? No.
Yeah. You just
I
give
get
me the
chocolate covered strawberry. Yeah, I'm so stuck on that. I don't know why. So in that sense, I never found the heavy cakes to be sweet per se. That it hits my taste buds and the sweetness that I need. So yeah, when people are like, have some cassava cake, I'm like, no, it's okay, or you can have my piece.
Yes.
And then I feel bad, and then I feel like I almost have to eat it because if I'm not, everybody's looking at me.
Yeah. But I'm going to have to hook her up with one. And maybe add a little extra sugar.
Yes. And I think that's the wonderful thing about being able to be creative with the cake, right? Like you can sort of tweak it to your customer's preference as well, because Renda's gotten requests for cakes that are vegan, right?
I think I've seen
so
at the business
it's,
expo.
Yeah. So there's the possibility that if you go, the traditional way, I can't necessarily, consume that. Still reach out because there is possibilities that we can still make it yummy for your preferences, right? So we can make it yummy for you. So if you need a little bit extra sweetness and a little sugar,
so I could say, maybe throw some chocolate chips in it, or is that just absolute blasphemy? Like you don't do that.
Listen, you're probably right. It probably is blasphemy. Like perhaps chocolate, chips need to stay with the chocolate cake. I'm not sure. What I will say to you is that my customers love it as traditional as you get it.
Got you.
For the summer, I do a mango cassava cake. And I was a little nervous about it at first because I said, listen, I know my customers and they just give me the original thing, And I experimented with it in the kitchen, and we worked it out, and I came up with a recipe, and it's growing. It's become quite popular. I introduced it last year for the Mango Fest. So basically what it is it's my original cassava heavy cake, and it's infused with delicious sweet mango.
Oh, that sounds very good, too.
I was just going to say they're fresh, like mangoes picked off the tree.
Oh, yeah.
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 I would definitely hope not imported, not mango frozen chunks from. This is Cayman.
Yeah.
She's doing it from your fresh ingredients as much as possible.
Yeah. So I say that to say that I don't veer too much from the original cake.
Right.
I'll try the seasonal thing there, but I haven't branched out too deep. But I don't know, perhaps the chocolate chip may work. I don't know. I could try a thing for you.
Let's see what happens. Or I could just try to control my sugar addiction. Clearly. Let's take a quick commercial break right now. And when we come back, we're going to hear more from Renda Connolly and Rhonda Connolly and all about Renda's cassava cakes and more.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Not sure where you fit in tech? Pathways in Tech by Enterprise Cayman can help you find your route. Whether you're interested in project management, computer support, or network systems, this program helps individuals explore practical, career-focused skills for real opportunities in Cayman's tech and innovation sector. It's beginner-friendly, job-relevant, special economic zone connected, and scholarships are available. Your path in tech starts here. Visit enterprisecayman.ky to apply today.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I am Azaria Burton, contestant number 7, and I'm a vibrant 18-year-old, proudly representing the historic district of Bodden Town, where strength lives and culture shines. Dancing has been a powerful force in my life since the age of 3, helping me overcome challenges with my mental health. My passion for shining a light on those in the dark has led to establish my platform, Empowered Through Dance. Through this initiative, I will create a safe space for the youth to express themselves, build their confidence, and use movement as a healthy coping mechanism. Over the past 10 years, I have contributed more than 800 hours of community service, working with various nonprofit organizations internationally and locally, as well as volunteer groups. Guided by the Lions motto, we serve, a quote I've lived by since the age of 4. I am a qualified nursing assistant with certifications in CPR and dementia and Alzheimer care. And I am currently enrolled at UCCI, where I aspire to become a travel radiology technician. As someone who is jovial, passionate, and strong, I use my energy and resilience to uplift those around me. I am guided by the belief that when we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. And I am deeply committed to empowering others to embrace their strength and purpose. I am incredibly grateful to my sponsor, Cell Cayman, for supporting my journey in the Miss Teen Cayman Islands pageant. Likewise, thanks to my family, pageant team, coaches, and mentors. Thank you all for believing in me and my purpose to empower others through my platform and my development.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking all about Renda's cassava cakes and more. And my guests in studio are Renda Cornwall and Rhonda Cornwall. They're sisters, and this is my first time having both ladies together. I would always see one and then the other, and I'd be like, okay, hold on, which one did I just speak to here? So it's lovely to have them here in studio with me, and for me to get a bit of a lesson here on Caymanian heavy cakes, which I'm appreciating. Now, during the break, Renda, you were telling me a little bit about your process in how you approach making the heavy cakes, the cassava cake. And I know that you learned from your mom, but if you could tell us the process you go through and what was the original way of how people Caymanians would prepare heavy cakes?
Yeah, so I'll start with the original way. Back in the day, again, because we had limited resources, but our people were surely creative, and now you can buy the cassava already grated from the store. You can buy it locally. Mr. Willis Farm, they grade it and they bag it and they sell it to the local stores. So you can go to Foster's and you can purchase it now. It's quite expensive, but I know that it is a very time-consuming process to prepare it as well. So it is definitely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And but back in the day, our people had to use the grater, and that could take a very, very long time to do. I know I've grated the cassava from scratch, and just to get like a pound of cassava, it would take me almost 2 hours grating, and in the process, some skinned knuckles as well. And in addition to that, the coconut milk was also made from scratch as well, using a dry coconut, husking it, and using the dry coconut and grating it as well. Some people used to boil it as well, boil it down, and then use like a cheesecloth to squeeze the milk out. Others would, another way that others used it as well was to, again, grate it and add water to it and use like a cheesecloth. We call them cheesecloth now, but back in those days, it would use probably like an old shirt or something, wash that out thoroughly and use that as a cheesecloth, right? Again, they were very creative with what they had available to them. And then when it came to baking, we did not have what we have now in our kitchens, either conventional or convection stoves. Almost every home has one. Back in those days, our folks used to use what was called the ground oven, and that was, they started out using that based on my understanding, and that was like digging a hole in the earth and adding some wood to it, like the log wood and the grape, and putting the cake, which they used cast iron pots back in those days as well, on top of that, and then creating another fire on the top. And yes, and that process could take all day long, several hours, because as you imagine, as the fire died down, the embers died down, you would have to kind of restart the fire again. And then I think our people moved on to the caboose, and again, that was another process as well. So we've come a very long way. For me now, bringing it back home now, it can take me up to like an hour and a half, 2 hours to bake a cake. The preparation, you have to be very organized. But again, you thaw your cassava. I start off by boiling the coconut milk mixture, which is a combination of the coconut milk along with various spices such as cinnamon and the vanilla, etc. And I boil those. I boil that for probably about 20 minutes to a half an hour. And then after that, I combine that with the grated cassava. Combine that, pour it into the pan, and bake it in the oven for about an hour to an hour and a half. Yeah. And throughout that process, there's a thing that's called basting the cakes. I forgot to mention that I would baste the bottom of the pan with some of the reserved coconut milk mixture that boiled. I'll put a little bit of that on the bottom of the pan, pour the mixture in there, and then I would put it in the oven, and like about 4 to 5 minutes through the baking process, I would take the cake out and I would baste the top with some more of that reserved mixture. That's why when you see cassava heavy cakes, and some of them tend to have sort of a caramelized top, that's where that comes from. And really, it's just adding another layer of deliciousness to the cake. And so that is the process that I go through for making a cassava cake. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And the big change is the tools and technology that we have today that make it a lot easier and faster to get a cassava cake done.
That is correct. As the island continued to evolve and grow, yes, more tools came on board, and so we were able to discard some of those traditional techniques and make the process a lot easier.
But in saying that, does that we got new technology, we got new tools, different processes, maybe a whole lot bigger of a population coming in, a whole bunch of different cultures. So in saying that, do you believe that, I guess, the art or that the the significance of the cassava cake got lost at all in a point in Cayman's culture?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What about with the younger generation?
Yeah, I don't think. I feel like the recipes that we're working with, and I feel that those that taught us, for example, like my mom, they didn't skim. You know, they taught us what they knew, you know, as a result. And in so doing that, it has helped us to keep it authentic. At least that has been my personal experience. A case in point, the coconut milk. You might have the debate about the canned coconut milk versus the freshly made coconut milk.
Right.
And I will say that the freshly made coconut milk you can taste when it is fresh because the coconut milk is more pronounced. But I will have to say kudos to companies like JCS who produce the coconut milk in the can. It is delicious, and many times there's not a significant difference, I would say, between the two. So I feel like they did an excellent job of capturing and preserving the authenticness of the coconut.
Ah, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to our traditional cooking and our recipes, how are you trying to preserve them and pass them on to the upcoming generations?
I teach classes.
Yes.
And I absolutely love teaching classes. I started to teach the cassava cake class about 8 years ago. A little over 8 years ago, and this lady to my left right here, my dear sister, was the one who encouraged me in doing this. She was working with the National Trust at the time, and she encouraged me to come on board to start teaching classes. And I thought about it, and I'm very, very passionate about our local culture. And I felt that it would be a great opportunity to pass it on to the next generation. And not just the next generation, but to everyone who has come and made Cayman their home and to visitors alike. And so I started to teach classes there. And I also teach classes at schools. I go into schools. I've been invited. Recently, I was invited to a bake-off competition at the John Gray High School last month, and I was there to help guide these students. There was 14 of them, and I was so impressed with the enthusiasm that the young people, really displayed and demonstrated. All of their cakes came out delicious. Of course, there could only be one first prize, but they were all winners, and they were, and I came in to help guide them and to teach them one or two little techniques and to help them. And they were so interested. They were totally engrossed with it. They welcomed it. It was an absolutely wonderful session. I've taught over at the John Cumber Primary School as well. I went there. This was a younger age group at John Gray. There were more teenagers. At John Cumber, they were, I think, like 7 and 8 year olds. Mm-hmm. Again, totally engrossed in the lesson. I've taught the Lighthouse School as well. I've done a class there as well, and I've done some private ones as well. And so I think, Kathy, the way culture and traditions are kept is the more we practice them, the more they continue. Yes. Every class that you teach is helping to preserve, in my opinion, this very rich culinary culture that we have. And so I absolutely love teaching classes. And I do private classes as well. I do corporate groups as well. They are often used as team building exercises.
Oh, that's very cool. I like that.
Yes, yeah. So it is a passion of mine.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a team building exercise.
Yes, it is. It is fun.
And you're learning how to, cook some great dishes.
Absolutely. Yes. And you get to really, it's a way of immersing into the culture as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we only have a couple minutes left, so if there's anything you want our listeners to know, I think very important for them, how they get in contact with you to order some cakes. What are the desserts that you do offer that people can order? Okay, so of course, the cassava heavy cake is my main offering, and I also do the pumpkin heavy cake as well. Okay. Yes, I do the pumpkin heavy cake as well, and I do the custard top cornbread as well. Oh. Yes. Yes.
Pure deliciousness, yes. It's actually my favorite, the custard top cornbread. And let me tell you, that was really trial and error making that one.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure.
It took some practice, but it was. I think I've kind of nailed it now, so I'm happy about that. And if to reach me, customers can WhatsApp me on 329-2505, or they can reach out to me through any of my social media handles at rendascassavacakes.ky, or they can send an email to renda.cornwall@hotmail.com. And Miss Rhonda, I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to share.
Well, I think just also noting that you do orders year round as well, yes, right? So if you are needing that cassava fix, then, just place your order, because it's something that it's not just at the pop-up, markets, but she does take orders throughout the year as well.
Yeah. And I can say, sorry to anybody else, but you definitely, Renda, your cassava cakes, I've heard as the best in Cayman. So for everybody else out there, I'm sure you're great as well. You are the best. So that's what we're going for right now. That's what we're going with.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory.
Absolutely.
And Kathy, if I can just share one last thought in terms of the significance of the cassava heavy cake to us as a community, to the Cayman Islands, and that's why it was officially dubbed the national dessert for the Cayman Islands, heavy cakes overall. And I'll borrow this quote from the National Trust of Australia, which defines heritage as something inherited from the past and valued enough today to leave for future generations.
Oh, I love that.
I love that. I love that. And so for me, my cassava cake business is more than just about making money. It's about preserving our culture and passing it on to the next generation. And I hope that when people have a slice of my cassava cake for Caymanians, I hope that it's a sense of home. I had a customer one time who said that the cassava cake for him, when he tasted it, he said, "This is my childhood on a plate." I love that.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful way.
And that's what I want for our Caymanian people, and then for visitors or residents, when they taste it, I want them to taste the love that went into it. I want them to get a sense of our culture and how proud we are of it.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Great words. Great words shared. Best of luck to you. I hope you get a lot of orders, especially after this show. And maybe you're going to be experimenting with chocolate chips in a cassava cake. I don't know. Probably not.
I may very well, I like a challenge.
I'm still culturally integrated. I'll try the bit sweeter one. How's that? We got to go to the 8 a.m. news right now. And then at 8:15, I'm going to be talking about the new legislative package that the Ministry of Health, Environment and Sustainability has just proposed. They sent out a press release about this last night. And joining me in studio should be the minister as well as the chief nursing officer. That'll be at 8:15.
Yesterday,
Today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller.
This program of legislative reform is our vision for the future of health in these islands.
Government wants to hear from you on a new series of draft bills covering health and the environment. Minister for Health, Environment and Sustainability, the Honorable Katherine Ebanks Wilks, says the world has, quote, changed significantly over the past 2 decades.
We have experienced a global pandemic, emerging infectious diseases, changing environmental risk, rapid advancements in healthcare, and new public health challenges such as the rise of vaping amongst our young people.
The minister says at the heart of the program is the proposed public health bill, which, quote, modernizes the legislative framework for protecting and improving the health of the population. It sets up a dedicated Department of Public Health and strengthens the framework for preventing and controlling infectious diseases. The Environmental Health Bill covers a broad range of environmental health functions, including food safety and hygiene, drinking water quality, lab services, air quality, and waste management. The legislative package also includes amendments to the Health Practice Act, which, quote, strengthen governance arrangements, as well as the Tobacco Amendment Bill to regulate vaping products, restrict the use of them to people over the age of 18, and prohibit disposable vaping products. Minister Ebanks says public consultation will play a vital role in shaping the final legislation, and there will be several town hall meetings in the lead up to the 28-day public consultation expected to start August 21st.
And that is why we want people to participate, to read the consultation documents, attend a town hall meeting, ask questions, challenge us where you think we can do better, and tell us what matters the most to you.
Consultation documents and information will soon be available at gov.ky/MHES. In other news, a new development is in the work at Grand Harbor. On July 8th, the Central Planning Authority reviewed a proposal from Grand Harbor for a commercial building, generator, fence, and 14 signs at the intersection of Crew Road and Edgewater Way. Originally, a 2-story commercial building with a basement parking level received approval back in 2019, but that lapsed, prompting the current application. The CPA granted conditional approval for the new plans. For a complete meeting summary from July 8th, you can visit planning.ky. In regional news, Trinidad's Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar says the alleged plot to assassinate her and senior members of her government has widened, quote, significantly, and now involves multiple foreign agencies. Last week, the Homeland Security Minister revoked the preventative detention orders issued against a prominent businessman and his wife, leading to their release, while investigations into the conspiracy to murder allegations continue against them. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Fiona MacDonald. An approaching heat wave risks jeopardising efforts to battle major wildfires in France and Spain, some of the worst in living memory. Firefighters say they've made progress, but warn danger continues. Japan's Prime Minister says a strong earthquake in the coastal city of Kumamoto has injured several people and caused buildings to collapse. Thousands of residents are without electricity. Train services have been suspended. Violence has broken out in Pakistan-administered Kashmir at the end of the first phase of regional elections. The authorities say one paramilitary officer was killed and 3 injured in clashes with supporters of a banned coalition of civil society groups. Oman is reported to have proposed a regional system for managing the Strait of Hormuz, preventing Iran from exercising sole control of the waterway. Shipping companies would make voluntary payments in return for navigation and safety services. Taiwanese media say prosecutors have detained an employee of the chip-making giant Nvidia as part of a widening probe into the smuggling of AI servers with chips. The Nvidia chips are subject to US export controls. Uganda has been declared Ebola-free after going 42 days without a new case. 20 cases were confirmed in the latest outbreak, first declared in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo in mid-May. The United States has welcomed Chad's decision to withdraw from the International Criminal Court. The US Assistant Secretary of State urged other members to leave, accusing the tribunal of illegitimate overreach. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Craving something bold, juicy, and packed with flavor? Introducing KFC's new crispy barbecue sandwich served on a soft, buttery brioche bun. That's 100% KFC premium chicken breast, perfectly crispy, deliciously smoky with crispy onions, cheddar cheese, and barbecue sauce. Just the right amount of messy in the best way possible. Stacked with layers of bold KFC flavor, this sandwich is your new obsession. But hurry, it's only at KFC for a limited time. So what are you waiting for? Get yours today at any of the 3 KFC locations on island. KFC, finger licking good, just got bolder.
Sports. Stay up to date on your sports news with Radio Cayman Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. It's all about sports.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcade, where people come first.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Synopsis indicate a tropical wave across the western Caribbean is expected to influence the region from this afternoon, bringing an increase in cloudiness and chance of isolated showers likely. Winds are expected to slightly strengthen as the pressure gradient tightens, with seas remaining slight through the period. Radar imagery show a few localized showers to the distant south of the Cayman area, moving towards the west. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and thunder, and temperatures will rise near the low 90s with a heat index of 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures dipping to the low 80s tonight. Your winds will be east at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet as well. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 8:28, low tide this afternoon at 2:52, and a high tide again tonight at 9:41. The sun will set this evening at 2 minutes past 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at a minute after 6. And the outlook is calling for a slight increase in winds and possible cloudy skies and a chance of showers and possible thunder as a tropical wave interacts with an upper level low across the Western Caribbean. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. Don't lie on your resume. Because if you say you've got trapeze experience, someone might shoot you out of a cannon and expect you to do a gymnast routine while flying through the air at 82 miles an hour. And just because you want to land on your feet doesn't mean you will. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance, so you get the best coverage for the price.
Get the best coverage for the price. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Brit-K, where people come first.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. is brought to you by The Light Room. Tired of being unwell and struggling to find the energy and vitality to live the life you desire? Come get recharged from inside out at The Light Room. Our non-invasive, holistic energy enhancement system detoxifies and energizes the body, enabling self-healing and balance. Book online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL, 38 Pasadora Place, GT.
Hello, this is KK Elise from Swanky Kitchen Band, and I just want to say happy anniversary to Radio Cayman. Thank you for being the soundscape of our lives for the last 50 years. I have so many fond memories of Radio Cayman, and you're still my favorite radio station today. So happy anniversary and God bless.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Top of the morning to you. Let's check out now and see what's happening on our roads to see what's slowing, what's flowing. Coming from the east on Shamrock Road, traffic is moving at a moderate pace. A little different story down on Linford Pearson Highway. Little steadier traffic, but nothing to worry about too much. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, moderate flow of traffic, as well as Agnes Way. And steady traffic on Holiday Avenue. Crew Road is flowing moderately in both directions. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing at a moderate pace as well. Coming from the West Bay four-way stop, flowing nicely, as well as on Owen Roberts Drive. If you've seen accidents or incidents, let us know by calling us at 949-6990. North Sound Road, moderate flow of traffic, and traffic flowing pretty good in the Industrial Park area, and steady bit flowing traffic coming off of the Esterly Tibbetts Highway. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moving at a moderate pace in both directions. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
Start your year off right with Subway's Fresh Fit menu. 4 protein packed subs with 20 grams or more protein, under 500 calories, and loaded with full servings of crisp veggies on hearty multi-grain bread. Try the grilled chicken and avocado, the ham and turkey stacker, the seasoned steak and avocado, or the turkey and ranch delight. Big flavor, plenty of protein, and fresh veggies in every bite. Fuel your day the Fresh Fit way. Only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. I almost got caught talking about other lifestyle things for myself in that break right there. But Susan said, nah, I would never let that happen to you. So welcome to this segment of the show. If you're just tuning in, thanks for hanging out with us this morning. And in this segment, we're going to be taking a closer look at a major package of proposed legislation being brought forward by the Ministry of Health, Environment and Sustainability. It was just announced yesterday evening in a press release, so you're getting the very first detailed scoop on this. The package includes 4 separate bills, and the proposed changes could affect everything from how Cayman prepares for disease outbreaks and collects public health data, to food safety, air and water quality, noise complaints, tattoo and beauty businesses, and more. So here to tell us all about these 4 bills are Minister for Health, Environment and Sustainability, the Honourable Katherine Ebanks Wilks, and Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hilary Wolf. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Good morning. Great. Great to be back.
It's good to have you back. Yes. And Minister, how are you today?
Yeah, doing good. Happy to be here. You know, I always enjoy coming on to the show with you.
And I love having you on.
Get all caught up.
Yes.
And then being able to just get on and share with the public what we've been doing in the Ministry of Health, Environment and Sustainability.
And I have to absolutely applaud your ministry because you guys are great at getting the information out. And I appreciate it. So as much as our listeners do too. So let's just start getting into this legislative package. So before we examine the 4 individual bills, can you tell us, Minister, what prompted government to bring these proposed legislative changes forward?
Well, I think when I first took office in the ministry, one of the first announcements that was made was the fact that we were going to be on a series of public health and health reform, legislative reform. And this is the beginning now of what the ministry team has been working on for a very long time. There is a lot of legislative change in the pipeline. This is just the beginning. And when we look at the Office of the Auditor General's reports, we see where there has been a call for legislative change, for updates. And just in practice in general, I know CMO will touch on it a bit when we get into talking about the public health bill, but I think just practitioners on a whole have been craving for some of our laws, which are very old, to be updated. And that's what we're doing, starting with the public health and the environmental health pieces, which currently form one act. And so we're now doing a standalone piece of legislation for environmental health, which we'll speak to more in detail soon. But yeah, it's just the beginning of, I think, what this whole term is going to be about, just amending the legislation and updating, modernizing, which is what is required if you want to keep evolving in the medical field.
Okay, what were the main weaknesses or gaps that we had in the current legislation?
Well, I guess when we look at the Environmental Health Act, we don't have one. We don't have a standalone piece of legislation that speaks to the functions and the roles of the Department of Environmental Health. We don't have anything that speaks to air quality controls, which was flagged when the EIA was done on the waste management solution. So we were going to have to get here anyway. And again, just forward thinking, we're looking forward to the new waste management solution. So we need to have air quality controls. And we won't talk about the most recent fire. Certainly, this is something that is needed. So we're looking forward to having that. But I would say that is one of the gaps, is the fact that we don't, as it relates to the public health and environmental health, we didn't have standalone legislation speaking to the functions of the department and the director. Equally, we don't have anything defined in legislation that speaks to the roles and duties of the CMO, or anything that really gives the CMO the different powers in order for the CMO to uphold their mandate, which is to really provide the medical advice to cabinet. So I think just addressing that one gap on a whole, but as we go through each piece, which you can select which one you want to go first, and we can do a deep dive and talk a bit more about each of the pieces and what these provisions will be doing to enhance them.
Okay. Now, of these reforms that we're going to be getting into, what do you think residents would most likely feel immediately in their life or benefit from the most?
That's a good question. I think I was actually thinking about a similar thought the last couple of days. I think for many people, they'll look and say like, oh, yeah, they're changing the Public Health Act or they're adding an environmental hack. I think that some of these changes the impact might not be felt right away. But what it does is it is improving the quality of healthcare. It's putting protections in place as we deal with what's the defined term in the medical. If we have a health threat,
outbreak control,
yes,
and emergency response.
Thank you. What we found is, or what we've seen is that there are instances where, unless you have the Emergency Powers Act sort of the provisions from that enforced, then you can't get into emergency regulations. And so what it does is it gives us an opportunity to be able to respond much more efficiently whenever we do have a public health crisis, which since becoming the Minister of Health, and I know since the CMO has started her role, we've seen quite a few incidents where it's like, oh, there we go, something new to deal with today.
Yes.
And I want to take a moment to just give the CMO credit where credit is due. She has handled, all of these recent incidents very calmly. It's one of the things that I think that we have in common is, when you're in a crisis, you don't panic. And she's been able to help us steer this legislative changes, which we're hoping to get through hopefully in September, at the September sitting. That is the goal. And it's going to continue to improve public health. And definitely the people of the public will be healthier and have better health care once these changes are in place. And like I said, it mightn't be an immediate, they might not feel these changes immediately, but certainly along the way is going to improve healthcare in Cayman.
Yeah, and as we get a little deeper into each of the bills, I think we'll see some of the other benefits and changes that would benefit people. Absolutely.
Maybe just a point on that. I think we've talked a lot about how we've had in the past a very reactive healthcare system, and we want to really move to a more preventative system. And the only way to do that is by strengthening the public health within the ministry and creating a public health department. And I think the focus really will be on making sure that we actually are providing health education, doing screenings, doing all sorts of different things before people actually get sick. And this is just one step towards that direction.
Okay. I like the modernization of things. Absolutely. It's needed for sure. So let's start with the Public Health Bill 2026. From you, Dr. Wolf, if you can give us a bit of a summary of the Public Health Bill.
Sure. So I think maybe I'll just start in terms of why we need this change now. The current bill is over 40 years old. It was introduced in 1981, and so it's protected our islands for the past 40 years. But as we've said, changes happen and we need to modernize. And so this is really such an important process that we need to undertake. The current law doesn't provide complete protection and legal framework for vaccine programs, health screening, disease surveillance, and the collection and use of population health data. And so it's just so important that we really strengthen those components. We also, COVID-19 showed us that we need much stronger laws to respond quickly to future health emergencies.
Right. I think when Minister was touching on that, on being able to have outbreak response when
a mechanism in
said?
place where it's not necessarily a national emergency, right? But it's emergent enough that we need to activate regulations very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yes.
And COVID absolutely taught us a lot, and we didn't know what to expect, number one. And I think we've never gone through that. Hopefully we don't go through it again, but if the event happens, there will be a procedure in place that will be a little bit easier, I think, for everybody to follow and understand what's going on. Okay, so we did, I know, as most people know, that Cayman does have already a public health department, and this is one of the changes that's going to be in the public health bill, or it was mentioned. And government began transitioning public health department from HSA to the ministry. I think it was in April, when the bill says it will establish a dedicated Department of Health next. But what exactly is being established that's not already there?
Sure. So actually, when you look in law, there is nothing that designates a public health department. It's something that has existed under HSA, but it's not actually a legal framework. And the idea is that within the bill, it will establish a dedicated Department of Public Health under government, which will be under the Ministry of Health, Environment, and Sustainability. And with that, it will allow us to collaborate across all different government functions. I mean, public health affects almost every sector. And so we need to be able to coordinate across all of those sectors. And so this will, and government is the one who sets the policy. So we really need to have that connection between the department and the policymakers who are setting the policy.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
I think just to add to that, I think moving it to the ministry and, falling under a department then makes this more of a national approach, because you hear a lot of practitioners, in terms of reporting, they wouldn't want to report to someone who might be seen as a competitor, as an HSA. And so getting to the place where reporting is mandatory, it's done through the ministry. These are decisions or protocols we're putting in place to, as Simo just said, to be able to track more data, health data, so that we can understand what the needs are in the country and how to respond to them. And I think in addition to that, having the duties of public health education and awareness falling under a department rather than a healthcare facility, it takes the burden off of the facility and they can focus more on patient care, where, as you've seen in the ministry, we just recently completed the Movement Challenge, which was a public health initiative, and other initiatives that we do have in the pipeline, talking about nutrition awareness. That's the sort of function that we're hoping to see the public health department do more of. And going back to CMO's point about vaccinations, explaining to people what vaccinations are available, what benefits there are to taking them, and so forth.
Yeah, I think it's so important because there's so much misinformation out there when it comes to health. And it bothers me. I can't imagine how you feel as chief medical officer when you see a lot of the misinformation out there. And, it's needed when that misinformation does get spread around. People's health is at risk. And
we just want to educate,
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. I think it's very, very important. Now, I kind of jumped the gun in a minute ago when I started talking about the change with the establishment of the public health department. And I understand it's about giving a little bit more kind of responsibilities, that legal framework around it, which I think is a great thing. But when I say I jumped the gun, because you explained why there was changes going to be made to the public health bill. But can you tell us again what some of those other changes are?
Sure. So as we said, it was one of the big ones is establishing a dedicated Department of Public Health.
Yes.
The other part is really strengthening disease prevention, surveillance, and emergency preparedness. So making sure that we have set guidelines, set protocols, and a legal framework for that. As we were looking for the word earlier, it was my team has been texting us, so it's a public health incident or threat.
Thank you. They're on it.
Thank you, team.
Yes. So I think really being able to have that in law. We also need a legal framework for these screening programs, vaccination programs, and other public health initiatives that we are putting in place. I mean, I think in an ideal world, we are in the community doing surveillance, doing health promotions, and really meeting people where they are and trying to prevent ill health. Then the other thing is really, we want to really improve the collection and analysis of population health data. It's very difficult for HSA to do that for the whole country, and we really need to do that from the government standpoint so that we can work with all of the healthcare providers on islands to really collect the appropriate population health data, and then that will help us make decisions and put in place programs that will make people healthier. Really making sure that we have good governance, accountability, and quality standards for public health is so important. And we just really want to be able to align our legislation with modern international health standards.
Okay. I like that. Those are the changes, at least for the public health bill that we're looking at, the major changes. And when it comes to data, as we spoke about, what kind of population health information would the department be able to collect that residents can rest assured my data here is safe?
Mm-hmm. So currently we have the reporting of notifiable diseases, and that goes through HSA, and it's very underreported. And this data is just so important for us to be able to see, okay, there's maybe one or two people who are sick with something that hits a light bulb that we need to act on that and do something to contain or control any kind of infection so that it doesn't spread to others. And so that is sort of an immediate response. So this you ask about, how will the public feel? The good public health, actually, people don't even know what we're doing because they don't actually feel anything because they're healthy. And so
and to CMO's point earlier, that facilitates a more coordinated approach, because if you're dealing with an infectious disease, there might need to be other agencies involved, such as Department of Environmental Health. CMO can tell you all about that.
Home Affairs, CBC, PLAHI. It's amazing how many aspects of public health touch so many other components of our government.
Oh, a bunch of different I didn't even consider that in what you were just describing right now. I didn't even consider that. But that there's so many agencies that have to get involved to stop what could be a possible outbreak or something spreading. Absolutely. We're going to take a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we'll probably wrap with the public health bill and then get into the environmental health bill.
Not sure where you fit in tech? Pathways in Tech by Enterprise Cayman can help you find your route. Whether you're interested in project management, computer support, or network systems, this program helps individuals explore practical, career-focused skills for real opportunities in Cayman's tech and innovation sector. It's beginner-friendly, job-relevant, special economic zone connected, and scholarships are available. Your path in tech starts here. Visit enterprisecayman.ky to apply today.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Jay and Money and Appleton presents the Jamaica Independence Celebrations on Friday, July 31 at Campus Green with an all-day food fest. Come out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and enjoy your favorite Jamaican dishes. The nighttime concert features Jamaica's #1 comedian, Dufton Duffy Shepherd, local rising star singer Shay, and all the local dancers and performers, and the Kids Talent Contest. Admission is absolutely free with lots of prizes and giveaways. See you at the Campus Green on July 31 for Jamaica Independence Celebrations. Sponsored by Popeyes, Best Dress, Water, Excelsior Biscuits, Maggie, Suppligen, Grace Foods, Wellies, Rodney's Car Rental, White Construction, General Automotive Services, iCool Air Conditioning, Radio Cayman, and Breeze FM.
We should never be this loyal, but stand up and keep strong.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio with me, I have from the Ministry of Health, Environment, and Sustainability, the Honorable Minister, Katherine Ebanks Wilks, and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hilary Wolf. We are talking about the legislative package that the Ministry has just announced yesterday that they are proposing, and it's going to come with some public consultations. You are getting a bit of a summary of why these legislative changes are being proposed, the key changes, and a little bit more information in there. So right now, unless there's anything else about the public health bill that you wanted to mention, we're going to go into the environmental health bill. So you think we covered things with public health? Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I
okay
think
there?
we're
Okay.
good.
So the environmental health bill, and ministers, you explained there was no actual environmental health bill. Whatever kind of legislation fell under the public health bill. So now we're going to create a whole entire environmental health bill.
Right.
Yes. So, now I want to ask, why are we doing this? Just because Dr. Wolf said, let me tell you why we're doing it.
Well, why we're doing it is because we need to have legislation that governs the department that upholds, I guess, the duties of environmental health, protecting the environment from that standpoint. And having a standalone piece of legislation provides a framework to cover food and water safety, nuances, air quality control, noise control, waste, sanitation, vector control, and enforcement. And when we look at the Public Health Act, this is what sort of has been missing. And, kudos to the team who have been working in environmental health. A lot of the measures that they have been working with and dealing with, some of them have not even been in legislation. So we're now starting to consider how this standalone legislation will come together. And, one of the things that CMO touched on with public health, and it sort of, I think, in every aspect under the Ministry of Health is, the preventative aspect, So if we have better environmental health data and clear definitions to environmental protection, then, enforcement, waste reduction, all of that sort of falls in place. So this standalone legislation, again, is to improve the quality of the environmental health provisions that are needed. And what we are really hoping to accomplish from this road show, as I'd like to call it, is really just getting feedback from the public. I know a lot of people have been concerned about the environmental health aspect. We hear a lot from the practitioners in terms of their concerns or what they'd like to see in legislation, but I think a lot of the members of the public are, just hungry for more. Certainly, since I've been an elected official, I've heard a lot of requests about noise control, right? So putting these type of provisions in legislation will certainly improve the way that we are protecting our environment. I know CMO wants to chime in.
Before that, can you share what some of the concerns were from the public?
Just that, noise control, like you have residents complaining that at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. there's someone jackhammering Cliff Rock on a Sunday or a Saturday, or there's been concerns about really loud music really late at night or in the early morning hours, and there's no way to really... So
you can't be my neighbor. Trust me, you can't be my neighbor. I am outside. If it is before 7 a.m. or whatever the law says, you cannot. There's no mowing the grass. Why are you mowing the grass at 7 a.m.? So yes, there's some things here. I understand. I feel.
So the idea with the bill is to put standards in place with actual noise level numbers, and that if you go above that you will actually incur a fine. And so it's actually putting regulation in place.
How do we measure the noise level numbers? Or how do we measure the noise level is going to be my question.
Yeah, there's actually technology that can measure noise level that, an officer, an environmental health officer could come out and do.
Okay, this is interesting.
And they use fancy language like decimals and...
Right.
Yeah, so...
I did some audio engineering, so I know what decimals.
Oh, there we go.
Or decibels are.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. So, additional powers. Would the Department of Environmental Health receive any additional powers under the bill? I assume they would.
Well, the director will, I think it will be, we're clarifying the roles of who does what, as CMO touched on earlier, when we're dealing with a public health incident. It would then, this legislation clarifies, I guess, sort of a framework or a process in terms of how it's managed. And Yeah, so we established the functions of the Department of Environmental Health, the director, and the environmental health officers. And then the bill also enables Cabinet, after having consulted with the director, to appoint I can never say this word properly. I keep thinking of Dr. Lee when he would say laboratories.
Laboratories?
It's British versus...
Yeah, I just want to say lab.
Yeah, you can just say lab. We get lab.
But to undertake, required physical, chemical, or biological analysis of any substance. And then what else does the bill do? It also renames offensive trades as potentially harmful trades, which can be seen in, provision of cosmetology or hairdressing or barber services, or tattoo or body piercing services, or any other trade that might be prescribed by Cabinet. So again, putting protections in place from a public health standpoint.
That's more of a name change from, what was it, prohibited? I don't think prohibited, but it's
offensive
now offensive.
trades.
Yeah. Well, it is a name change in that sense, but then it will also, it helps provide better regulations. So we will make sure that there is not unsafe practices at a tattooing parlor or something like that.
What considers a trade to be offensive? An offensive trade? Because
potential. I think any potential thing that could cause potential health risk.
And it's renaming it from offensive trades to potentially harmful trades.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we've been fortunate here. So again, going back to the Department of Environmental Health, the work that they have already been doing, and even with the different tattoo or body piercing services that are on island, cosmetology, I think that we already have a very high standard of services being offered, but we want to make sure that, as CMO said, they're properly regulated, because you have to think about, in the future, and want to prevent any pop-up shops from, coming and
right.
And it just takes one bad incident.
One bad apple,
and the goal really is to protect people's health in every sector, in every way. And so
I'm curious, because with the hairdressers being involved in this not offensive trade, I'm sorry, I forgot the term.
Potentially harmful trades.
Potentially harmful trade. So that was interesting to me. So now my mind is wondering, would spa services fall under that as well? Because there's so many different technologies and products that they use.
That for sure. And also I think the bill strengthens reducing any kind of waterborne illness, and that's really key within spas as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that's some major changes right there. So this is our environmental health bill, the big some of the big changes there, which I think are kind of interesting. Okay. When we talk about the legislation against construction noise, loud entertainment venues, and ongoing kind of neighborhood disturbances, we already have some laws in place for this, right? And I feel like some of the biggest complaints are coming from the parties that are going out, the outdoor parties, and from the time those end. Are we looking at a lot stricter penalties or changing anything in that aspect?
Well, the bill does. There are some increased fines in the proposed increased the fines. So the bill updates the fines and introduces stronger deterrents. So fines under the present framework generally range from $50 to $10,000.
Yeah.
And under the new environmental health bill, they'll range from $200 to $10,000, with many being between $2,000 and $5,000. The higher penalties will reflect the seriousness of conduct that may put public health at risk. So that's just a touch on, I guess the words not coming fast enough.
They never come from me in the morning.
Yes, the range.
Okay, I gotcha. The bill also establishes a new legislation for food quality and hygiene. So can you touch on what changes are being proposed for restaurants or supermarkets or food importers and handlers?
Well, I think we're putting a provision in place for regulations, right, for us to establish regulations and to be more specific to what those controls look like. Right now, again, we're just working off of the Public Health Act. So we haven't really been able to get into a whole lot of details on what the regulation will look like, but the bill puts a provision in place for us to add regulations. I'm trying to find the little section on that. Simo, I don't know if you have that bit there, but I
it's really
think
about food safety standards,
Right,
standards,
and helping ensure food is safe to prepare, sell, and eat. So making sure that food handlers don't have any communicable diseases or infections, that if they are sick, that they stay home, and putting fines in place so that we can prevent.
Right. At this point, do you know if these businesses will require any new licensing or training or inspection to go through?
I don't think a new license, and I think that,
We've
again,
already touched that.
Yeah,
Business licenses,
going back
yes.
to what CMO said earlier, the role of public health unit / department will be to do a lot of education. What I can say is that Director Sims from the Department of Environmental Health has already been doing a lot in terms of education with the different vendors, food vendors. And so we'll just continue to build on that.
Okay, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. Okay. Anything else about this bill that you want the public to know? Because we got to take a break, and we got 2 more bills, and the tobacco one is a big one.
Simo, I think unless you feel that I've missed something, I think pretty much touched high level on what these. We really would like the public to come out to the public consultation sessions that we're going to be having, because this will be an opportunity to ask the detailed questions. There'll be the technical experts will be there, along with the team that has been working to deal with the draft legislation. For the environmental health consultation, we have Monday the 3rd of August from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the John Gray Memorial Church in West Bay. And then on the Tuesday, the 4th of August, for those residents living up in Georgetown and towards the eastern side of the island, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Seafarers Hall in Prospect. So do you think that there was anything else that we should
Maybe
add?
just quickly on the environmental health bill, I think the other piece that maybe we didn't touch on is protecting drinking water quality. So putting standards in place for stronger monitoring and improved management of drinking water. And then in addition, we plan to expand the legal framework to enable future regulations for commercial recycling and recycling materials.
Yeah, I did have a question on that.
Yeah.
But I put it to the side a little bit because of the time.
Yes.
But I thought that was an interesting thing about government having certain recycling requirements being introduced for some businesses.
Very important. And thank you to make sure we didn't miss that one.
Okay, so don't put it aside, Kathy. So is government already considering which sectors or products might be included for the recycling requirements?
Again, still at a very early stage with consultation. What we have been looking at is rolling out a phased approach to recycling, starting with commercial facilities, who many of them are already practicing the recycling. They're already practicing recycling and using private vendors to collect their waste, and so that we can do a deep dive in that later when we have Director Sims who can elaborate a bit more. But certainly something that is necessary as we move forward into the longer term waste management solution.
I think it's interesting, and it just it just falls back into sustainability.
Yes.
So, which all falls under you. So this all makes sense. We're going to take our last commercial break for this segment. When we come back, we're going to get into the tobacco and vaping bill, or the tobacco bill.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
Grow your business with Breeze 105.3 FM and Radio Cayman. From spot packages to full campaigns, we've got rates that fit your budget and your goals. Email our sales team today, rcsales@gov.ky. That's rcsales@gov.ky. Let's get your message on air and reach listeners who trust us every day.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio with me, I have from the Ministry of Health, Environment, and Sustainability, we have the Honorable Minister, Katherine Ebanks Wilks, and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hilary Wolf. And I have both ladies right now checking their phones because, Dr. Wolf, do you want to let the people know? Or are you looking at the details right now?
I just got an advisory that an earthquake has taken place, and there may be aftershocks are felt. I think people were feeling it in the GAB building next door.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I hear some shouting in the hallway right now. So, no, right now, no. I'm okay, that's quite serious. Does it, I guess the magnitude hasn't been.
I don't see it yet.
Yeah.
Someone is typing.
And not too long, a few minutes ago, then it might have happened. Wow. Okay. So that's some big news. We didn't feel that at all here.
They are evacuating via the stairs at GAB.
Oh.
We didn't feel anything in here.
So what do we do? The show goes on, or the show goes on. I'm not sure about that protocol right here, but Minister, you can tell me if all right. Susan's going to check to see if we need to escape the building right now. But other than that, would you like to continue with our discussion, which seems a little wild? We had an earthquake. All right, let's keep talking about these legislative packages.
If we need to leave, then let us know, right?
Yeah, Susan will let us know. She's going to go check right now and let us know.
Well, let's make use of the time for those who are staying indoors and listening to the radio.
Absolutely. For those who haven't heard anything, felt anything. So the tobacco bill is one of the biggest changes I see, and I think because when I look at so many people out there who vape, and the big change here that I'm seeing is the prohibiting vaping products, importation, the selling of them. I was blown away by that.
That sounds scary when you put it like that, Kathy. We're not proposing to prohibit the sale of them. What we are looking to do from a public health standpoint is no one wants to see any more landfill fires. Mm-hmm. So any act that we can take to reduce the chance of a fire, if it is as simple as removing all of the disposable vapes that go into the landfill, then that's a start. So what we are proposing to do is to, after obviously a phased approach, we wouldn't roll out a piece of legislation and say no more disposable vapes being sold after today, and giving businesses an opportunity. And that's why it's important for us to seek feedback from business owners in terms of what would be reasonable. But what we're aiming to do is to prohibit the sale of disposable vapes.
Disposables.
Right.
So this doesn't affect non-disposable.
Correct. So apparently, I'm not a vapor, but
Neither.
Apparently you can get a reusable vape where you just put the cartridge in. So that is what we want to be promoting. Well, not promoting, but we want to be, that's the sale of vapes that we would be facilitating through the amendment bill, would be to reduce the amount of waste that's going to the landfill of the disposable and then move into a reusable, which is what I think we should be doing, not just with vapes, but with any products, is we should be looking for reusable products so that we can, I keep saying to people, like, we live on an island, like, let's see what we can reduce putting into the landfill.
Absolutely. And the big changes for this, why are these amendments to the tobacco bill being proposed?
Well, I think in addition to phasing out the disposable vapes, which will help reduce the preventable fire hazards, it also, this proposed amendment also will reflect government's commitment to protecting both people and the environment by addressing youth vaping and reducing environmental harms associated with vapes. So one of the things that this bill also addresses is the fact that as of right now, there's no regulation on the sale of vapes. And if we look at how any other tobacco product is sold, there's certain regulations. They have to be stored in a certain location. There has to be certain warnings, in terms of public health warnings. And so this is what this piece of legislation seeks to do, and also reducing the sale for anyone under the age of 18, which isn't in legislation anywhere right now. So again,
it's considered are they not considered tobacco products and vapes?
They are. I mean, and there's just nothing in legislation that
is so interesting.
Being sold to anyone under the age of 18.
I didn't know that. And that's clearly a big problem.
The issue with vaping is that the vapes have different chemicals. So some have tobacco, some don't. And it's a bit of a loophole in the current law where we have all these regulations for tobacco and cigarettes, but not for vaping. And so that's why it's so important that we put this forward. It's similar to how things were before when there were no regulations for cigarettes and people were just sort of doing whatever they want. And now, they really market to kids. They have like fancy flavors and various things. They make it look very sexy and appealing and cool. And the idea is really to stop that and decrease the accessibility for children in order to, we've done in 2024, they did a survey that showed about a quarter of grade 7 to 12, grade 12 had been using vapes. And so it's a huge health risk in terms of future developing cancer in the future, having other pulmonology issues, heart disease, various other. It can cause, especially tobacco in young people, really affects brain development, and so it's just really an overdue regulation that needs to be put in place.
It's worrisome to me if there already isn't regulation that would protect the youth from these products. Because as you said, it matters so much to the development. And if anybody can get their hands on it and people are just going wild and thinking, okay, my friends I'm going to try this. You never know how problems just kind of stack up on top of each other. So I think this is a great thing, a very much needed thing in at least the legislation concerning 18 and younger, that these products aren't sold to them. I think that's very, very, very important. So, okay. So, Minister, you did say it's not going to be all of a sudden. So, with the existing stock that local retailers might have, they would have a bit of a time to get rid of their disposable stock.
Yeah, there will definitely need to be a transition period that will be put into the legislation. And I think what we previously had approved for the drafting instructions, if my memory serves me well, was 6 months, I think, before that would be commenced. But again, this is where public consultation is very important because we want to make sure that obviously the government's goal is not to disrupt small business owners or business owners in general. But what we are doing is taken this approach from a public health standpoint, and we feel that it can be balanced. We feel that we can protect the people of Cayman and the environment, and we can do so without negatively impacting businesses. And that's where I will continue to do my drumbeat message on people power. And as long as the people appreciate the amount of power that they have with their voices, with their feedback, and just to say that is the reason why we are going on this roadshow, going to the different town halls and giving the people an opportunity to hear what we are proposing and getting their feedback. And then that feedback will be taken back to the ministry We'll have the policy team, the technical experts. We'll discuss that. We'll take those findings back to caucus. And then those amendments, if accepted, would then form part of the bill that is published for 28 days. So we're not publishing the bill and then going back and saying, we want to make these changes, on the floor of Parliament. We're trying to see if we can get as much feedback from the public in advance of publishing the bills, so that the bills form part of what we feel have been accepted by the public, as a necessary change for Cayman.
So before these public consults, is there any way that people can get information on what these 4 bills are?
Absolutely.
Not fully explained, as you just said, we're not going to publish the bills right now.
Right.
But so they have some info, they know what to go to the public consultation and say, hey, I have some questions about what I read.
Definitely. I'll provide you with an email address in a minute for me to, here we go. So that the listeners who would like to get more information can either go on to the website publicconsultation.gov.ky, and there is a feedback form that is linked to going straight to the ministry policy team, and then from there we would be able to have direct conversation with those individuals. So perfect. I would encourage those who are listening to visit the website publicconsultation.gov.ky, and we will give them an opportunity to directly communicate with the ministry staff. Alternatively, I know that there is a ministry email address. I'll find it in a minute, but I will provide an email address as well.
No worries. I'll give you a couple minutes.
We'll have a bunch of stuff on our social media as well. There are QR codes. You can read about each different bill.
We have to go to the 9 a.m. headline news, and I know you guys were only scheduled till 9, so
that's fine.
As an impromptu thing, I'm saying you can stay for a few minutes after 9 if you would like. We haven't talked about the health practice amendment. Up to you.
I would like to hang back because I know our Chief Nursing Officer and Simo have been working very hard with the policy team, and we want to let the public know what we're proposing to amend for the public health amendment bill. Okay. So we'll wait.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So let's go to the 9 a.m. headline news, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The government of the Cayman Islands issues an emergency alert after an earthquake, and we are currently awaiting the official magnitude and other information from Hazard Management Cayman Islands. Well, we have this report now from Radio Cayman's April Cummings.
So, Carly, I've just popped out of the radio station. I did not feel this earthquake, but a lot of people did. The government administration, I can see outside, people have evacuated and are gathering in their safety areas. There's definitely a lot of buzz out here and a few rattled nerves, to say the least. I personally am out of breath because I ran outside to try to see kind of what was going on. I heard the alert belatedly. So far, doesn't seem to be any injuries or anything of that sort, but definitely people checking in with loved ones and a lot of discussion and chatter while they're waiting to be cleared to get back into the building. Reporting from the Government Administration Building, April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
The public advisory went out over the NEN's emergency alert app, and as April just mentioned, several people have confirmed to Radio Cayman feeling the tremors. Make sure to stay with Radio Cayman as we follow this developing story. Again, an earthquake has been reported in Cayman, and we will bring you the magnitude information as soon as it's available. For Radio Cayman News, I'm Carsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Your Cayman Islands Health Services Authority has been the national healthcare provider of the Cayman Islands for many generations. We have elevated our level of care to ensure you, our patients, have the best possible experience. We offer better access to care close to home with the most locations on all 3 islands, delivering a full range of primary, secondary, tertiary, and emergency care. HSA is a JCI accredited organization, and we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking about the legislative package. This is a legislative package that has 4 bills that the Ministry of Health, Environment, and Sustainability are proposing. It was just announced last night, I believe. If you go to gov.ky, you can probably see the press release there because I know that the ministry sent it out. I got it personally. And we are talking about those changes right now. And in studio, I have the minister. We have the Honorable Katherine Ebanks Wilks joining us, and she is her, along with the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hilary Wolf, who just stepped out for a moment, were giving us the summary and the reasons why these 4 different bills are being proposed. And 2 of them are amendments, the Tobacco Bill and the Health Practice Amendment. So we went through the first 3 so far, which was the Public Health Bill, the Environmental Health Bill, which now will be 2 separate bills, the Tobacco Bill Amendment, and now we're going to talk about the Health Practice Amendment. So, Minister, if you could...
Yes.
Yeah, she already knows. I don't even have to ask the question.
But before I do, I want to just clarify a very important piece of information. I want to thank the ministry team. They are just always on it. They're listening. We have our communications representative right here in the lobby.
Yep.
And so I have been advised that I need to clarify if the public were to go onto the consultation page today, there wouldn't be anything appearing from the ministry as yet. It goes back to what I was saying, that this is the early phase where we haven't published the bills as yet. So if you would like to provide feedback or if you'd like to get more information from the ministry, what we're asking you to do is to email mohfeedback@gov.ky, and then someone from the Ministry of Health will correspond with whoever is interested in knowing more about legislation, the legislative changes, and we'll give them an opportunity to share their feedback in advance of the bill being published on the government consultation website, which should go up around the 21st of August.
Right, and also in the meantime, the Mashepo, I'm gonna give her the flowers. She did advise us that in a few days there will be a page set up. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be on the Ministry of Health website or the government, the gov.ky site, but there will be a page set up where people can get a summary, basically, of what we're talking about here, just explaining why the bills are coming and some of the key changes.
Yes, and I think CMO touched on that a little bit as well with the ladies in the communications department have designed QR codes for each one of the legislative amendments. So once that page goes up, the public would then be able to hit a QR code and get all the information that they would need in terms of the different pieces of legislation.
All right. Well, now let's get into the Health Practice Amendment. Why is this happening? Why are we doing this one?
This amendment strengthens governance on health professional regulations by improving how the professional councils operate while maintaining accountability and high standards of patient safety. And just like how we've started this suite of legislative amendments, we have another suite that will be coming at a later date, which will include a more holistic approach to the Health Practice Bill, or the Health Practice Act, sorry. The reason why we are making this change to the Health Practice Act right now is because of the amazing work that our Chief Nursing Officer, Mrs. Felicia McLean, along with CMO and their respective teams, have been working to strengthen the Ruth Eleanor School of Nursing and take us to a place of local oversight under the Cayman Islands Nursing and Midwifery Council. So the amendments really are geared around facilitating the establishment of councils, subcommittee.
Can you explain to me what we mean by local oversight of the Ruth Eleanor School of Nursing? Because it's a program offered by UCCI, right?
Yes. Program offered by UCCI, and then there is a component where the participants sit examinations in Jamaica.
Okay.
And so we're moving away from having to sit the examinations in Jamaica and being able to sit the examinations right here in Cayman. So having the local oversight, which would be overseen by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of the Cayman Islands.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
makes some sense.
Again, this is one of the steps towards promoting training for anything medicine local.
Yes.
So this is a start, and there's many other pathways that we are going to be working on. But the nursing council is just about ready to take this on. And CNO has been working with her team to establish the education subcommittee to support the oversight transmission of the Ruth Eleanor School of Nursing. But in order to do that, we needed to amend the legislation to establish the education subcommittee, because right now there isn't a provision for the establishment of the subcommittees.
Okay. What problems have health professional councils encountered under the current governance structure?
Well, I mean, again, the problem that this legislation is trying to solve is that professional councils currently carry increasingly regulatory responsibilities, but they have limited flexibility to delegate their operational work.
Okay.
And without committee structures, then the councils are tasked with carrying out functions without the needed expertise or specialized knowledge within those councils. So what the bill does is it actually enables the councils to establish committees for specified functions, improving the efficiency while maintaining the oversight and accountability. And then it also enables establishes the governance framework, which is needed for the local oversight of nursing education.
So this, in essence, will strengthen the professional oversight.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
And the nursing example is just one of the first ways how we're using this, but it will be helpful in a lot of different areas as well, because, you have a small committee who may not have expertise in a specific area, and then it allows them to bring those people in and really help move things forward. I think this is such an important first example in terms of really strengthening the education we can provide to our healthcare professionals here on island and really help build local Caymanians to really be able to access educational services here.
Okay, I think that's great. So in closing, is there anything more with the health practice amendment that you want our listeners to know?
I mean, I think that, like I said, this is we just did a focus change to allow us, because the goal is to be able to stand on our own feet by fall. So we really want to get this change made as quickly as possible. And these amendments certainly improve our governance structure. And I think if I remember correctly, you were hoping maybe around, was it end of September, to present the bills to Parliament after the consultations have gone through? And yes, so we are hoping to have a sitting of Parliament at in September, and so we are doing the public consultation now so that we can publish within the 28 days, but also once published, have already incorporated the feedback that we've received from the public. And the 28-day consultation period would begin on the 21st of August. So that's why we're starting now, so we have time to collate the information received and then have the technical team work along with the legislative drafting team to make those amendments. And I think that's about it for now. I mean, what we are hoping to achieve by having this robust roadshow is to give the public an opportunity to come out, share their views, ask any questions, and then give us the ministry team the opportunity to incorporate that into the legislative amendments.
Could you remind the public again about the first 2 public consults that are happening? I think the first one is Monday, August 3rd at John Gray Memorial.
Yes. So the first one is Monday the 3rd of August at 7 p.m. at the John Gray Memorial Church Hall in West Bay. And then the following day, Tuesday the 4th of August, 7 p.m. at the Seafarers Hall in Prospect.
And we will also be going to the Sister Islands. We will be in Cayman Brac on August the 7th and Little Cayman August the 8th. So everyone is included.
Okay,
I'm very excited about going to the Sister Islands. I know I always look for an excuse to get over there.
Well, it's good. And it's always good to include them. They're a part of the
yes.
Cayman Islands and have very different needs as well. So it's great that we're also getting their feedback and addressing what the needs might be in the Sister Islands too. So again, as a reminder to all our listeners, in a few days, there'll be a website, there'll be a page created where you can get just a basic summary of these proposed legislative changes from the Ministry of Health, Environment, and Sustainability. And then we've got the first consult on Monday. And when you do these consults, Minister, are you, because there's four consults in total, I believe, are you focusing on one bill at a time?
That's one of the reasons why we decided to do 2 separate consultations so we're doing one for the environmental health, and then we're doing another one for the health legislative amendments, is because we're mindful everyone's getting off work.
Yeah.
You're tired. You don't want to sit in a 4-hour meeting to go through 4 pieces of legislation. So we broke it up and we're focusing on environmental health and then going into the health legislative changes.
Okay.
Public health.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, ladies, both for joining me this morning. If there's anything else you'd like to say.
6 consultations in total,
6.
actually,
Okay.
just if you include the Sister Islands.
Oh, my bad. Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and just in closing, I'd like to thank you for having us.
No problem.
Thank the public for tuning in. Thanks, CMO, for joining me so early in the morning. And really just to thank the communications team for the ministry. They have prepared a robust roadshow, which has taken up a lot of their time, and they've prepared a lot of feedback for us to share with the public. And in addition to that, just the chief nursing officer and all of the ministry health team for all their hard work that they've been. What really gave me joy, Kathy, was when we sat around the table and decided that this legislation was going to go at the next sitting, to see some of their faces. Like, I will not forget the face of our epidemiologist, Rachel, when she heard that we were taking this stuff in September. And I teased her, I said, her face is like my face. Her face has loud volumes, and it was a happy face. But I just want to say to the team how much I appreciate all their hard work. And I'm really excited to be able to take this legislation over the finish line, which is going to improve the health of the Cayman Islands.
Okay, excellent. I think it's a great thing. And the more public consults that we have on things that are going to be shaping our future, the better. We do need the feedback. It's a society that we shape together.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's a democratic society. So get your thoughts out there, share your ideas, and together we can make these proposed bills happen. So, all right. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to let you go because I know you got some meetings to go to and I kept you a little longer. And we're going to go to our last commercial break for the segment. And I'm going to do a little bit of open line just after the commercial break.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Not sure where you fit in tech? Pathways in Tech by Enterprise Cayman can help you find your route. Whether you're interested in project management, computer support, or network systems, this program helps individuals explore practical, career-focused skills for real opportunities in Cayman's tech and innovation sector. It's beginner-friendly, job-relevant, special economic zone connected, and scholarships are available. Your path in tech starts here. Visit enterprisecayman.ky to apply today.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. You know, as our guest left and I was in the hallway saying goodbye, you know, they were like, Kathy, you have 20 seconds to go back to the show. And I thought, I thought the show was over. I didn't sign off, but for some reason in my mind, I thought the show was over. But I came back to you guys. So I'm going to give you an update on that earthquake that we had, that we got notice of just around 8:53, I think it was. We were sitting in the studio not feeling anything and understanding that the government administration building had cleared. They had asked all the people inside to clear the building. We were sitting down here in Radio Cayman, not sure what to do. Susan went and checked, and it was all good. It was only a few people, I think, upstairs in the newsroom that might have felt a little bit of a shake. I definitely didn't feel anything. Did you? Did you feel anything? Give me a call. Let me know. WhatsApp me, 925-3261. You can WhatsApp text or WhatsApp call, 949-6990, 949-8037, or you can call the toll-free at 1-800-534-8255. So you can get official information by visiting caymanprepared.gov.ky and gov.ky on that earthquake that just hit. And I have no doubt our newsroom is putting the information out as well. If not in the headline news, the info will be up on our website, radiocayman.gov.ky, which I'm going to direct you to, most importantly. So if you want to get the details on the earthquake that did happen, please check out our site or caymanprepared.gov.ky. I do not know the magnitude. I don't think it has been shared. Nothing, as I was just advised, nothing has been registered on the earthquake sites as yet. So I don't know. Did you guys feel it? Susan stepped away from the desk, so now we got Paul behind the boards. Paul, did you feel it? Did you feel anything? Not a thing. Were you upstairs? Were you here yet? Were you driving? Okay, you were buying a coffee. So you were on the ground. You were standing. It was just okay. Well, I didn't feel a thing. Yeah, I didn't feel anything either. I need about 12 coffees before I felt anything more. So there's that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing and learning about the legislative package that the Ministry of Health, Environment and Sustainability are bringing forth. And if you didn't get that, I mean, I'll be a little disappointed if you if you didn't hear what we were talking about. But there are 4 bills in this package. There's the Public Health Bill 2026, and that bill deals with the health of the population as a whole, not only what happens when an individual visits a doctor. So it's formally establishing a dedicated Department of Public Health, which we've had, but it's never been per se recognized in legislation. As if I remember correctly, that's what the minister said. So it's going to help create clear rules for collecting and using population health information, monitoring diseases and health trends, preventing and managing outbreaks, preparing for future public health emergencies. Instead of being reactive, as Dr. Hilary Wolf had mentioned, sometimes Cayman gets blamed as being reactive to an incident happening instead of, I guess, proactive instead of being preventative. So they're looking at, changing that a little bit and preparing for, deciding who is responsible and accountable during a health response. And I think during COVID, those powers were definitely brought into question. So we've never had an event in our lives like COVID, and it certainly made people question what could government do that they had the authority to do. But we had to do things. What do you want us to do? All catch COVID and not make it? We lost a lot of people in our population, in our community here from COVID. So I think the Cayman Islands responded well to what we were dealing with, having no idea, no experience in that kind of situation. So, in simple terms, it seems that government wants a more kind of legal system for identifying public health threats and sharing relevant information and responding before a situation becomes worse. Then there's the Environmental Health Bill 2026. So, environmental health matters are presently included within the public health legislation. This proposal would separate them into 2 completely different acts. So it will be a dedicated law to the environmental health, and it will more clearly define the duties and powers of the Department of Environmental Health, its director, and environmental health officers. That bill would cover areas including water quality, air pollution, excessive noise, and vibration. So please do not be mowing your lawn at 6:45 in the morning. Even 7 a.m. is too early. Don't be jackhammering, as the minister said at 6 a.m. Like, what's going on? I understand some people want to rise with the sun, but that doesn't mean make all the noise in the world as you can with the sun. Mornings are generally peace and solitude. That's why we get up early, so we can have a little bit of peace and solitude, not to hear you jackhammering at 6 a.m. in the morning. So the bill would also cover areas including waste management and waste management and recycling, intrusive artificial lighting, and I forgot to ask about that, what that means exactly. Inadequate ventilation, potentially harmful businesses and services. So it's interesting. The category previously called offensive trades would be renamed potentially harmful trades. And the document specifically includes cosmetology, hairdressing, barbering, tattooing, and body piercing, while also allowing Cabinet to prescribe other trades in the future. So this is based on the press release that they had sent out. The bill could also allow government to require food safety records, qualifications, or accreditation for food handlers, and codes of practice governing how food is stored and prepared. It could also allow certain foods or drinks to be prohibited. And that's another question I forgot to ask. The bill is talking about certain foods or drinks being prohibited in the Cayman Islands, and I would love to know what would fall under that category. So it also talks about some updating of penalties of the fines. So currently fines generally range from $50 to $10,000, but under the proposed environmental health bill, the fines would range from $200 to $10,000. So we're going up from 50 to 200 starting point, with many offenses attracting penalties between $2,000 and $5,000. Then there's the Tobacco Amendment Bill. So this bill is primarily intended to bring vaping products under a clear regulatory framework. And according to the ministry's guidance, the proposed amendments would prohibit the importation of disposable vapes, so we're not talking about non-disposable, just disposable vapes, prohibit their manufacture, sale, and promotion, limit access to vaping products to people aged 18 and older. I want to say 18 and younger. Maybe I wrote that wrong. Give authorities stronger regulatory and enforcement powers, and update the Tobacco Act to cover products that did not exist or were not widely used when the original legislation was written. An important point here is the ministry cited the 2024 Cayman Islands Student Drug Use Survey, which found that 15.6% of students began vaping at age 13 or younger, while more than 80% of students who had vaped during the previous year used nicotine-containing products. Products that they can easily buy, because there's a bit of a loophole, as Dr. Hilary Wolf was explaining when it comes to understanding the chemicals and ingredients in these vapes. So I had no idea that right now that people of any age can just go and buy some vapes in Cayman. To me, that's a little crazy. So that is the tobacco bill. And lastly, we have the Health Practice Amendment Bill, which concerns the councils that regulate healthcare professionals. It would allow those councils to establish committees, delegate some operational duties, carry out administrative responsibilities more efficiently, and remain ultimately accountable for decisions made under their authority. It would also support the transition of the Ruth Eleanor School of Nursing to local oversight by the Cayman Islands Nursing and Midwifery Council. And as the minister explained, currently, yes, you can do your training, you can do your schooling here in Cayman through UCCI, but your testing is done in Jamaica. So the local oversight would be bringing all of that back, the testing right back here to the Cayman Islands, which we are more than capable of handling. So that is a bit of a summary on the 4 bills that we talked about. If you want to learn more, remember, in just a couple of days, you can go to the ministry's website or the government website, and hopefully you'll see the information that will summarize the key changes in these bills. Then hopefully you'll go to the public consultations, the first one beginning on Monday at John Gray Memorial Church in West Bay. So that is on Monday, 7 to, I believe, 9 p.m. That is going to be the first public consult. You want to go to these, you want to get your questions out, your feedback, share your ideas, propose other changes. So that way, when it comes to drafting this bill, we have the public's input, because it is us who is shaping the future of these islands, and our feedback, it matters. And you can't say you didn't know when they're trying to include you in the decision making on how to move this country forward and modernize legislation. I was about to end, but I think Susan just let me know that we got... I'm not on that, Susan. You got to give me the information. You got to just go online. Hey. There you go.
Good morning. Right. Yes, Kathy.
Good morning.
Yes, it was a earthquake 4.5, 44 kilometers southeast of Bordentown. The time was 8:42. Location 18.889 north, 81.36 west, and the depth was 10.0 kilometers. So 4.5 earthquake, 44 kilometers southeast of Bordentown. It occurred this morning at 8:42. Location 18.889 north, 81.136 west, and the depth of the earthquake was 10.0 kilometers.
Okay, well, the depth is kind of far, but 44 kilometers off Bordentown that's like next door. Thank God that was just a 4.5.
And we're getting some reports that people felt some shaking in Crew Road, also Walker's Road. We didn't feel anything downstairs here at Radio Cayman. So thank God.
Yeah, thank God on that. I have to check on my pets now, make sure they're okay. So, oh man, check on your family, your loved ones, make sure everybody's all right. And I don't want to put any panic out there, and I'm not trying to do it, but there have been a couple of earthquakes pretty close to Cayman lately. So it's my encouragement to everybody out there to make sure, go look at your earthquake plans. Make sure you have them. I know some people be like, what earthquake plans? And we only have hurricane kind of plans, right? But trust me, as a Canadian, you got to have earthquake plans. We learned from as soon as we stepped inside of a school about earthquake drills. So think about having one for your home, for your family, and most places of business already have this plan in place, all right? Get familiar with it, because there has been some activity in the area lately in concerns of earthquakes, and this seems like the closest one. And again, thank God it just registered at a 4.5. Okay, thanks for hanging out with me on The Buzz. I'll be back with you on Thursday, but really, I'll be back with you at 12:15 today for Talk Today, which I'm going to be having. I believe it's going to be Minister J.E. Banks from the Ministry of Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure, and MP Kenneth Bryan. We're going to be talking about the Scranton Park opening. That should be the first discussion this afternoon on Talk Today, so come hang out with me there later on today. Okay, have a great morning.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And Cayman Enterprise City, Cayman's innovation hub. Discover your opportunity at enterprisecayman.ky.
Radio K.